After this episode, I definitely need to get the WandaVision Halloween Funko Pops. Hey everyone, welcome back to another WandaVision review. My name is Dan and thank you so much for joining me today as we talk about the 6th episode of WandaVision. This show is just honestly starting to exceed my expectations. I feel like every single week it's just getting better and better and better. Just the way the storytelling is progressing has just been so fantastic. I really did enjoy this episode. We finally got to see all the Halloween shots that we've seen in the promo material beforehand, and it was absolutely amazing. This episode definitely takes place in like the 90s or possibly even the early 2000s because of we see they walk past the cinema in the episode, and what's showing in the cinema, which I thought was interesting, was The Incredibles and then The Parent Trap. And I was like, those are very interesting movie choices, and they definitely must be intentional to some degree. I think The Parent Trap one could potentially allude to Pietro and Wanda's parents, and then The Incredibles could just like be a reference to Wanda and Vision now having a family, so they're like a little Incredibles family, something like that. So I thought those are cool, interesting titles. I'm not sure if that is confirmed or if I'm just reading way too much into that, but I thought it was a cool little Easter egg. Obviously, last week's episode we ended on a massive cliffhanger with Evan Peters, Quicksilver, appearing in WandaVision. Now, there are many thoughts on what's actually going on with Evan Peters in the show. I still don't quite think he is the exact version of the Evan Peters Quicksilver from the X-Men universe. And I feel like this episode may hint towards that he isn't that character, because throughout this whole episode he is asking a lot of questions and he's almost trying to get information out of Wanda and Vision. And this could potentially be because he's like a fish out of water to a degree. He doesn't really know what's going on. But I still kind of feel like to a degree his character in the show so far is a bit of like an intruder. He's gotten into this world and he's trying to just get out information from these characters, almost like a spy. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this character so far. And then also the interesting thing is when they were talking about like their childhood, for example, there were a few instances of this in the episode. A lot of the time it was of Wanda's childhood with the Pietro from Age of Ultron, or at least that's what we meant to think. That could also just all be fake, but that's kind of what we were alluded to think throughout this episode. So that was also really interesting because obviously the Evan Peters Quicksilver would not be in those exact same situations as the Pietro from Age of Ultron, Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver. So I don't know, I thought that was also a bit strange. We didn't get much out of the Quicksilver character in this episode, which I was kind of fine with, but I feel like some people who were expecting a huge reveal on how he got there might be potentially a little disappointed. I absolutely love the 90s/early 2000s theme of this episode. I love the Halloween costumes. I personally am definitely going to try do the Vision Halloween costume for the next Comic-Con or whatever I go to. It looks pretty easy, but I also just thought it looked really dope. And then it'll also just give me an excuse to buy yellow high-top Converse shoes, and those just looked absolutely dope. Vision was absolutely rocking it, and so was Wanda. I thought their Halloween costumes were perfection. We also got to see Wickham and Speed's sort of Halloween costumes, which kind of allude a little bit to their comic appearances. But then Speed's Halloween costume also references Quicksilver's comic accurate costume as well, which we also see Evan Peters have on in the show. He's got like a sort of like a Halloween costume version of his comic accurate costume. I feel like I just rambled on there for way too long and I was very confused what I just said. Hopefully you got it. But I really did love Evan Peters' appearance in this episode as well. Hope we get a Funko Pop of him looking like that too. That'd be amazing. Absolutely amazing. The other interesting thing about Quicksilver in this episode is when he is using his super speed, it doesn't look like the X-Men version Evan Peters super speed when he uses it in those movies. It looks like the Aaron Taylor Johnson Age of Ultron Quicksilver super speed, which is very interesting in my opinion. And I guess some could argue that maybe that's because Disney are doing, the VFX and stuff like that, but I don't know. I thought it looked very similar to the Age of Ultron Quicksilver and his abilities in that movie. And then the other thing is we also get like this similar thing with what happened to Vision in a couple episodes ago where Wanda notices that he's actually like a dead corpse, and then she like snaps back and he looks normal again. And we had that same thing with Quicksilver in this episode, and again it caught me quite off guard. I was not expecting that. The interesting thing is I thought in that moment they might have actually put Aaron Taylor Johnson's dead Quicksilver on screen like as a little cameo, but it wasn't. It was Evan Peters, looking dead. And again, throughout this episode, it doesn't seem like Wanda knows who he is. So I'm very curious to see who his character is, or what his character is, and what significance his role is in the show. Then obviously some of the biggest stuff we see in this episode is that Vision, he encounters Agnes, and this scene completely blew out a whole bunch of theories I had. But it seems like Agnes is also just being completely controlled by Wanda, which I thought Agnes was kind of like the mastermind behind the scenes here. She maybe still could be, but I feel like this episode completely derailed my theories on that. And it looked like she was also just completely, like under Wanda's spell. And I thought that was a big moment in this episode. And then after that, we see Vision trying to escape Westview, and that's when he starts deteriorating as he exits Westview, because obviously outside of Westview he's still dead. He died in Infinity War, like he's dead. And that was really heartbreaking, just seeing like how he was trying to escape and he was trying to get help. And obviously the sword guys aren't going to help under Hayward's control, but he was trying to get help, and that scene was just heartbreaking. And I really feel like Paul Bettany again once delivers a fantastic performance. In fact, everyone on this episode delivers such a great performance. Darcy, Jimmy, and Monica also have to sort of go undercover because Hayward wants to get rid of them because they're just causing issues in his grand scheme and his plans. And I thought that was pretty cool as well. We also found out that the person that Monica has been in contact with is a male, which I thought was interesting. Which again, I'm probably being too ambitious with the whole Mr. Fantastic thing, but it would be really, really amazing if that is the case. But it is interesting that it is a male character, because she says something like, we need to go meet him on this bridge or something in an hour. And so that's where Jimmy and Monica are going. So we'll definitely see that revealed in the next episode, which is really exciting. And then we see Darcy staying at the sword facilities, and she starts uncovering a whole bunch of different files and stuff. At the end of it, we don't quite know what information she knows, because she gets handcuffed to like a jeep or something. And then obviously at the end of this episode, because of Wiccan's powers, he can tell that Vision is in trouble. And then this moment gave me goosebumps, but Wanda sort of like expands Westview, and that was just absolutely insane. That was such a cool moment. We see her just expanding Westview like quite significantly, and it starts taking over like the established sword base, which I thought was cool. And I'm really curious to see who Darcy's character is going to be in the next one, like, because she's probably going to be under like the mind control. And I personally really enjoyed this episode. I mean, not a lot of questions were answered in this episode, but we did get the clarity around Agnes's character. Like, it doesn't seem like she is the big bad guy in the show, which I initially thought she could be. And I really like seeing the twins using their powers too. I really love the Halloween costumes and just the vibe of this episode in general. I thought they once again did a really good job on like sort of setting the show around the decade that it's set in. Guys, if you have seen this episode, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next review. Stay safe out there, and bye bye.